Governments always tell us, we are working for your financial freedom. Stability, growth, opportunity. Sounds good, right? But if you look back at history, you realize that things are not really like that. Governments have always played sneaky games to keep ordinary people poor and to gather wealth in their own hands. And the surprising thing is, these games are not new. They have been repeated in different situations over hundreds of years, given different names. But the goal has always been the same: to move money upward and keep the majority of people dependent. Let's start with one of the first and simplest games: inflation. When a government spends beyond its limits, it has two options: either openly tell the truth and collect taxes, which is politically risky, or secretly devalue the money, reducing the value of the money people hold without anyone knowing. Rome knew this very well. In the 3rd century AD, due to military expenses, emperors reduced the silver content of the denarius. A coin that was almost pure silver at first was turned into mostly copper, with only a thin layer of silver on top. The empire acted as if nothing had happened, but the people holding the money paid the price. Inflation skyrocketed, savings melted away, and salaries were no longer enough. It was like a sneaky tax, but people didn't even know it. Today, this game still exists. Only imperial mints have been replaced by central banks. Something similar happened in the Middle Ages. Forced loans in England, France, Spain. Kings asked wealthy merchants for money to be repaid later. Saying no was not an option. There were fines, confiscation of property, or worse. Sometimes a promise of repayment was made, but most of the time it was either late or never happened. The state financed its wars, and merchants gave up their last resources. The sneaky part was that the coercion was presented as patriotism or duty, and this worked for thousands of years. By the 17th century, the scale of the game had grown. The Bank of England was established in 1694. The goal was not charity, but to get money to fight France. The wealthy bought government bonds, and in return they got guaranteed interest, which was covered by taxes. Sounds fair, right? But who paid the taxes? Ordinary people. On salt, beer, and cloth. The wealthy earned secure interest, while the poor financed it. In other words, a transfer of wealth disguised as something for the people. And this system continues today. The safest investment in the world is lending money to the government. Its returns are guaranteed by the labor and consumption of the people. Today, the games are even more complicated. Budget deficits. Governments borrow, sell bonds, investors, banks, and foreign countries buy them. Politicians say, look, this is for infrastructure, jobs, social programs. But most of the money goes to defense companies, corporate subsidies, and bank bailouts. When it's time to pay, they don't cut spending at the top. They raise taxes, inflate the money, or slightly reduce social benefits compared to previous support. So it looks like it's for the people, but the burden is on the people, and the profits go to bondholders. The same game happened in the 2008 crisis. Banks made risky deals, packaged bad mortgages, and nearly destroyed the entire economy. Who paid for it? Of course, the people, through massive government bailouts. Who profited? The banks, which came out bigger after the crisis. The game was simple: privatize gains, socialize losses, and the public was convinced, saying, the system is being saved. Pensions and Social Security are another similar game. For decades, people contributed thinking, our money will be ready when we retire. But governments often don't actually save the money. They spend it immediately, replacing it with bonds. The burden is left on future taxpayers. Essentially, it is like a Ponzi game between generations. When demographics change and the population ages, the system starts to collapse. Then the government either reduces benefits, raises the retirement age, or reduces payouts with inflation. Notice, the game always relies on perception. Inflation is presented as growth, forced loans as duty, debt as investment, bailouts as stability, and pension cuts as reform. But in reality, things are very different.